Yo, this for my niggas though, special delivery. Spit like this, get my wrists all glittery. Get cake, snakes get slithery. Lean in, show y'all the mean and the chivalry. Rap ruler, you can ask Buddha. Right jab like Zab Judah. Every member on my team is a shooter. Tight like a womb, no room for intruders.
Yeah, here we are. Here we go. Just came into the sounds of G-Dep on a special delivery. If you were born, who knows when. But anyway, it is the Cast-Worthy Podcast Special Edition, recording on a good Thursday night, December 10th. Hard to follow the unofficial intro that was taking place, but I'm going to try. I'm joined here with the Captain, Capo, Jefe, Big Steve, a.k.a. Last of a Dying Breed, a.k.a. Always an Asshole, joined by also the VP, who's just the VP, trying to get his research tag back, VP, and I am the sophisticated savage one, surviving off of a good
dehydration.
Dehydration and soulless body work. But anyway, we're not getting into that. What's going on, fellas?
I can't call it, man. How you doing, man? I mean, I see you smoking the victory cigar.
Celebrating our birthdays, you know what I mean? You know, Sag season, Sagittarius season.
A birthday, some bottom knockage. I mean,
I cannot confirm nor deny. But anyway, VP, how you feeling there?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a good week, man. Just for people in general, man. These news stories about this vaccine getting out there, man, is to make me feel like some light at the fucking end of the tunnel, man.
Yeah, a lot of progress in that, a lot of progression in that. We getting a lot of support from some likely and trustworthy faces, but still some skepticism in the Black community. We might get into that a little bit. You know, VP's a little political on that, but yeah, man. Glad everything is going well. Let's just get right into it, man. Had some topics for the day before we get into the sports and everything, but randomly, I was just thinking, man. I know so many people and so many things going on, and you guys are married happily and everything like that, so y'all not really a part of the game. But I've been married once, you know. I was a bit of a scumbag towards the end. You know, I didn't want to be there, and there's a lot of things going on, so I started doing my scumbaggery. But I never cheated when I was happy. You know what I'm saying? And it's wild to me because out there today, there are people running around that are supposedly and seemingly happily married or in a partnership of some kind, posting on Facebook. And I just got to thinking, man, like how savage is it that you can come on Facebook, post the Christmas pictures, post the date night stuff, but then just go out and just ransack another person and just do all kinds of nastiness. Like, I'm scared, fellas. Like, you guys have been married. You guys are happily married. But I'm scared, man. I don't know if I can actually get back into something like that with these shenanigans going on.
Whores.
What do you?
They're just.
And I mean male and female.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, specifically in my case, I am referring to the females because I feel like females cheat way better.
They're sneakier. Females are definitely sneakier. 100%. Yeah, man. I don't understand, man. So listen, it's hard to find a good woman, you know, and when you find them, you got to keep them, which is the explanation for VP having his happy relationship since high school, and you know, mine going back. Shit, how old am I now? At least 20 plus years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You find one that is worth the keeps, you keep them, because you know there might be some shit that somebody else might do, but they may not just be doing it to you. And
What do you
EJ
mean by
knows
that?
that. He learned that last night. You know that that special back rub you got last night, and I mean by your back being on the back of your balls, that special. Oh
I don't know
man.
what you're talking about. Yeah, man. I
Oh,
mean, when you say sneaky, it's just like it's crazy because I think about my encounters, and then I think about people that I observe, and it's just like, yo, you literally go on Facebook and you parade around as if everything is okay. And like I said, man, I don't know many guys that when they're cheating, like they're happy or they're faking it. You kind of know when it's shitty. You just in the shitter. Like you just like, I don't fuck with this person. I'm not taking the pictures. I don't care. We at the kids' party. We not taking pictures together. I just feel like it's a little on a serial killer border where you could just go throat somebody for 3 hours and then get on Facebook the next day and have Christmas photos. Like I don't understand it. I'm scared.
what's
I mean, I
your take, feminist?
I, I think part of it too is just that, like, when you meet a motherfucker, man, you gotta be on the same page. And what I mean by that is that, like, if you, like, right now, you're out there just kind of doing your thing, living life or whatever, and
Jesus Christ.
you know, like, so you can't be on some, I'm just trying to sow the royal oak, and she's like, yeah, I'm looking for a marriage or whatever. You know what I mean? And I think that's where people get mixed up at or whatever, is that, like, they're pursuing two different things, and then it causes problems later down the line. Whereas if you just trying to find somebody where you can get it in every now and then, and she's looking for somebody who's going to get it in every now and then, I think it'll be all good. And then once you're ready to have a relationship, if it's with that person, okay, cool. If not, move on or whatever. So
But so the question for me is right because guys, like when I was out there stepping out and everything, it wasn't about just getting my rocks off. It was like I was genuinely unhappy. But these people have these nice moments on Facebook. They're posting like shit is all good, and I'm like,
Family time.
it can't just be because the sex is whack, right? Then why do you get involved? Like, what is going on?
It could be though. Like it could be because the sex is whack on either side, right? Whether it's male or female. But a lot it's possible that they just had that connection, right? So they might have that connection with their significant other where they're extremely happy with everything but that part of their relationship. You know what I'm saying? And they go find that, they go scratch that itch somewhere else. And, is it still scumbaggery on both ends? Absolutely, from a male and a female, if they're doing that in my eyes, right? Um and it's entanglements, right? That's how you end up with entanglements.
Mm, mm.
yeah, I mean, Steve, right, man. I mean, you think about it. I mean, you got motherfuckers in Utah, who got 6 wives and shit, and they're all happy, So
Wait a minute, hold up. How much is the land in Utah?
The polygamy is real.
Straight up. Let me get on Zillow. Nigga, if I can get 6
I, yeah, and it again for the future, and I think this is key for all of us who have children, going on in life. It's like, is the sanctity of marriage and a relationship even gonna exist by the times? I mean, VP, your kid is the closest than the rest of ours by a little, but is the sanctity of marriage even going to be anything 5-6 years from now? Everything is fluid. Everything is, can we normalize this? And you got the Nola Darlings and the what's that joint from Spike Lee, the that he remade, She's Gotta Have It. You got people praising that thing. It's like, is this even gonna be a thing years to come? Is marriage even gonna exist years to come?
I mean, I think it just depends on the person, right? Because you know, a lot of things happen based on, like, societal norms, right? And back when we were growing up, and before that, it was, you finish school, you get a job, and then you get married and you have kids, and all this stuff should be done by a certain age, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now in this day and age, people don't live like that anymore. People don't feel like I need to have a marriage or have a kid to validate my success or whatever in life, and you have people who never get married, they never have children, and they live, prosperous lives. I mean, an extreme example of that would be a person like Oprah, but there's people out there every day, both women and men, who never get married. They have multiple entanglements or whatever, and they do their thing. They're super independent, and they like it like that, So I think it's just one of those things that just change with the time.
So I
Go
feel
ahead,
like
Steve.
with COVID, right? I think COVID is going to kind of reset us and get us back to that. We hear all the stories of the increased divorces and frustration and domestic violence because people are around their significant other too frequently, and it's causing, frustration and shit like that. But I think what we don't hear is the people that are single, not you, EJ, because you're still out there doing what you do. But the single ones who who are understanding and on the serious note, the ones that are single that may not have just come out of a relationship or may not have never had a long-term relationship like you had the courtesy of experiencing, right? And they're understanding they're lonely right now, right? And they're who knows when they can go out and they can date as normal, right? When they can potentially go out and meet somebody new, when they can potentially go out and feel comfortable trying to start a new life and start a family, So I think once this gets a little more under control, we will see those people, men and women, that'll be like, I got to take this opportunity, because if it gets worse or it continues the way it was in 2020, life could be really lonely for me moving forward.
And that's a hell of a point, because I saw a post and somebody was saying, like, they have the thing where you're the forever auntie, the forever uncle. And it's like, when you think about it, if you don't, it's one thing not to be married, or you were once married and then you have kids, but it's another thing to have never been married and maybe not have kids, because literally at some point in your mind, as to Steve's point, you got to be thinking like, yo, I really can go out of this world by myself. You could be like, yo, I got my nieces and nephews, but we know how motherfuckers get old and you just become the auntie that gives me money on Christmas, birthday. You legit might have to go through and suffer something on your own. No legacy to leave behind you. No kid to be like, yo, that's my pops, I got him. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
No, you're absolutely right, EJ, and that was a fantastic point that Steve made a second ago. But also, like, think about it, like, from the other side of the desk, or put yourself in their shoes, right? That person may be saying, "Damn, y'all people who are married and you have children and that kind of thing, you're kind of bogged down." Whereas me, when my friend hits me up who's in Chicago and it's like, "Yo, fly out, we about to do woo woo woo." I book a flight, I'm on the way. I don't got to worry about what's gonna happen with my kid. The one thing they may have to worry about is, I got this dog. I might have to put him up in a what do you call it? like a boarding place, or maybe get a friend to watch him or something like that. But other than that, they can just pick up and go. You know what I mean? Hey, we gonna go on this cruise. We going to Jamaica. Whatever, and they just go do their thing. Whereas people who are in our shoes, who are married, who have children, etc., we're like, oh, that weekend don't work for me because I got this PTA meeting and then I got football practice on Saturday morning. So you know what I mean. So they look at it like we're the ones that's fucking tripping. You know what I mean?
The weirdos, yeah.
Yeah, but all things considered, man, I think you guys are a great example of, what it is to be married and going through that, because you guys have been with your significant others for a long time. And, just imagine life, not being able to look over your shoulder and just talk shit or argue or have somebody, because, it is wild out there, man. I mean, I've encountered several different people, and it's like you get tired of one another. They bringing in shit from the past joints. Like, one joint was mad at me for saying I was on the phone all the time, but I'm like, dog, I'm with you like 7 days a week. I just put my phone down. I'm not doing nothing. Like, what do you want? And it's like, you have to combat all these things. And can you imagine, like, you're in your 30s, you have the podcast. This is your podcast time. You watching football. I'm out taking shit. You got people that they criticize like you taking the shit again. Like yeah, motherfucker. Like but you have people that you've been around that are used to you for good or for worse. And while that may be true, you get on a flight and all of that, but that shit gets empty after a while. Meeting the guy at the hotel bar, meeting the chick at the club, and finding out she got 6 baby daddies and they all coming to shoot up the hotel. It is a savage world out there right now, bro.
How devastating is it for you right now being that go-to guy for married women?
Listen, man, I currently can't take that mantle, but I have been in that role before, and I can't lie to you, man. There were instances I felt bad for the husband because I'm like, yo,
who's listening? Who are you masking for?
I'm not masking anybody. I'm just saying. I'm saying for past experiences, man.
Oh,
like,
right, past.
Yeah, no, past experiences. But yeah, I felt bad for the husband because it's like, yo, you got this good dude that's sitting at home calling you 10, 6, 8 times, and you're out 4 a.m. at the hotel, not answering, and this dude is working his ass off, waiting for you in the crib. I kind of feel bad.
As you should, because I know you guys have all had rental vehicles, right? And you don't drive the rental vehicle like you drive your car. Like your car, you're not neutral dropping your car. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not throwing your car in reverse and then dropping it into drive to, burn out and peel out and shit. That's how niggas is treating somebody else's woman in the hotel. They are bussing the bottom out of it. Like there ain't no, it's just bad. Like I could imagine.
It is nasty. It is,
and that's what makes niggas kill or makes people kill people.
Yeah, I've always felt bad for them dudes. I feel like I've seen more than my fair share of that just because I was in the military, and especially like at the height of the Iraq War. And I mean, you would just hear the story. Some people you just knew something was happening, like from they were like worked somewhere else, but you knew about some shit that went down. Some people were in your own unit. You had some of your homies that was doing that kind of shit, and that shit. It was like one of my homies was messing with this married chick. Her husband was in Iraq or whatever, and it's like. It's not like to EJ's point, maybe some shit was going down, in the marriage, she wasn't happy, whatever. So she went out, whatever. In this case, like this motherfucker's literally not there because he can't be.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched this show, the 50 Cent show, The For Life joint, where the guy was in jail, got exonerated.
I haven't started the new episode or the new season, but yeah, the best friend, yeah,
his best friend of 40 years. You could have any guy in the world. She chooses the best friend of 40 years.
I hope I don't get out of jail. both of y'all, because I'm gonna go right the fuck back.
It's like, and that was something that kind of struck a chord for me too, because it's just like, how do you combat that? How do you look your significant other in the eye and be like, yo, even if I really wasn't coming home, how do you really expect me to deal with this shit?
Yeah.
Dude,
that's true. And they had a kid together, didn't they? If I remember correctly, in For Life, they had.
He didn't have a
daughter.
He had a daughter, but the new dude and her didn't have any kids. But he was basically in there playing stepdaddy, and I just, there's certain lines you just don't cross, man. I really think it's some savage people in the world, man, and I've been one of them. But shit, yeah.
Thus the name.
I don't deny it. But yeah, man, just wanted to get y'all good opinions on that, man. Let's jump into the sports, man. That's what we're here for. It's Thursday night football going on. Patriots are getting greased right now.
Yeah, Patriots are donezo for tonight, I'm sure. No. VP and I picked the Rams on Sunday. You chose New England, so that is going to be a hurtful one for you.
So where we at with the picks otherwise than that from last week?
Last week was an interesting week, man. Something that is unheard of. You had the most. You went 11-4, while VP went 9-6. I went 8-7.
Huh?
That brought us a bit closer. VP's at 108-64 on the year. I'm at 105-67 on the year, and you are 103-69 on the year. So I'm 3 back from VP. You're 2 back from me.
Damn,
There you go,
still
man.
last place. God damn it.
Yeah,
All
don't
right.
worry. Don't worry.
Steve.
Now we about to get these buys done, and VP he's gonna mess up. He's gonna mess
Nah. Second
In,
place is just first loser.
in grand fashion. What is it about the building the bridges again, VP? Never mind. So let's do the picks, man. What we got going on this week? What is this, week 15?
Week 15.
It's 15 already?
14.
Week 14, my
14,
bad.
Yeah.
14. Yeah. I got the games written down, so we'll go through these quickly. New England and the Rams we did already. Denver is going into Carolina. What you guys think?
Shit.
No Christian McCaffrey from the latest updates that I read, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with Carolina.
Yeah, Denver quarterback situation. I mean, I just gotta go against Denver, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Carolina with you guys. Houston is going into Chicago. Chicago coming off of, did they win last week? I thought they won last week. Hold on, let me get back to that. I thought they stole one last week.
No, they lost.
Oh yes, they did lose to Detroit. I take that back. Trubisky started, they lost. Houston had a win last week though.
Yeah. I didn't even have to see the score. I just saw my man's Mark reaction in the chat, and I knew it had went down.
Yes.
Who we got?
Oh no, Houston lost to Indy last week, so they both lost. All right.
Yeah.
I'm rolling. Man, I chose Chicago last week, man. It's in Chicago. Not sure what the weather's gonna look like.
Right.
I'm gonna go Chicago, man. I think that defense can hold up.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. David Johnson is back. Yeah, I'm gonna go Chicago.
VP, who we got?
I'm gonna take Chicago here as well, man. I just really don't believe in Houston.
No Will Fuller. I'm gonna go with Chicago as well.
Chi-Town.
Yeah.
All right. Game of the week. Probably the biggest game of the season is the Cowboys going into Cincinnati.
I didn't get that memo.
Cowboys coming off of a Monday night loss that they probably could have won if the refs didn't hate them and have bets in on fucking Baltimore. And they didn't let Lamar Jackson off of the COVID list after 3 days. But yeah, Dallas going into Cincinnati, they don't have Joe Burrow. Andy Dalton, Red Rocket,
Red Rifle.
Red Rifle, yeah, Red Rocket. Red Rifle, revenge game, man. What you guys think?
Andy Dalton comes back to his old franchise. I think he's gonna light him up, man. Let's go Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cowboys here, even though honestly, except for pride, I don't really see what the upside is of winning too many of these games for Dallas. You already got a team that is pretty well loaded. Why not get a high draft pick and add another piece to restart the post COVID season?
Yeah.
Well, they still kind of are jockeying for. I don't know if they still have NFC East implications in this.
It could still happen.
Yeah, the Washington Giants are both 5-7, and then Dallas and the Eagles are both I think 3-8 if I'm not mistaken. But Eagles got a tie, so Eagles are like 3-7-8 or 3-7-1. I mean, so they could make the playoffs, but I mean they're not gonna go anywhere. So why not just fucking get that high draft pick?
Well, players don't do that. Like, you know what I mean? So think about last week, the Jets. I'm so surprised that the Jets secondary didn't just say, "All right, fuck this call from what was it, Greg Williams, right? That was the defensive coordinator got fired.
Greg Williams.
Fuck this all out blitz call. I'm not doing that because I know we gonna lose if we do this shit." And I'm surprised, but that was the call, right? I mean, but we did still see the players play. You know what I mean? And it was a close game, and the Jets really had that until the last play of the game. So players don't think like that. GMs and shit like that, they might be thinking. You and I, fans, we think like that, but the players still got shit to prove out there, and a lot of them still have incentives to try me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of
if
the
you,
oh, go ahead, VP.
no, I was gonna say, if that's the plan, then you need to do the Dolphins route, where you basically say, let's just get rid of the players, just in case they feel like winning. Let's bring in this guy who was laying carpet last week.
So a lot of the talk today was on ESPN. Does Dak come back to the Cowboys?
Oh, next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's back next year.
Yeah.
If you're Dak, do you come back to the Cowboys or do you explore the market?
He won't have a choice if they franchise tag him again.
That
Wait,
and I mean, if somebody picks him up, he's still not going to get what he wants. So for him, it's one of those, I don't want to be here anymore, so I don't give a fuck, because I don't even think Dak could get 20 mil anywhere else.
not off of that injury.
Yeah, and that's like average quarterback money now. And so he'd have to go somewhere, take a lesser contract, prove himself, and all that kind of thing. So his best bet is to stay in Dallas.
And he's black. Let's not forget that.
Well, he's light skinned though. But yeah, I think the biggest piece to that is right. They're gonna franchise tag him, right? They'll tag him. They'll see how he comes off of that injury. They'll probably still grab somebody out of the draft, maybe late, if they don't have a good pick. Either way, I think it's late, and they'll see what that person looks like, right? And they'll give Dak the year. If he looks good coming off of that injury, then after the second franchise tag, you pay him. You know what I mean? If he doesn't look good coming off of that second injury, then that's where you start grooming this other guy that you might bring up, or Danucci, or whoever the fuck that looks like. But yeah, I agree with you though, VP. It would be great for them to get some good picks, because that's kind of like Golden State this year, right? Golden State lost Steph Curry, they lost Klay Thompson, right? And they had what, number 2 or 3 pick
Yeah.
in the draft. And they're coming off of championship run seasons, and now you know what I mean. They get a number 3 pick. They brought Wiggins in. Like, it's same type of thing with the Cowboys. If they can get a decent pick and bring in and help out that the secondary, or get that O line rebuilt up, because it's kind of hurt and fucked up. Maybe they get rid of Tyron Smith at this point, because Jerry's good for that. Get rid of Tyron Smith, kill that cat, and get some other guys in there. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still going with them. I think Andy Dalton has something to prove this week. Even if the next 3 weeks he's like, fuck this shit, he's going into Cincinnati. He's gonna try and blow some shit up.
Yeah,
Indeed. Who we got next?
Next up is Green Bay and Detroit, divisional game. This one is in Detroit.
Ford Field is not like you facing the elements. No fans. I got Green Bay.
I'm gonna go Green Bay as well.
Yeah, I have to go Green Bay, but we know how division games get, man, and it wouldn't surprise me if Detroit found a way to keep it low, because they're used to these guys. Tennessee, another divisional game. Tennessee going into Jacksonville. Jacksonville has not won a game since week 1. It's rough, man, and Mike Glennon fucked up last week for them. I don't know if he's starting. I don't know who's starting for them, but we got Tennessee going into Jacksonville. What's that look like for you guys?
I'm gonna go Tennessee here.
It's got to be Tennessee, man. If they don't, I mean, they're done.
Yeah,
I'm on Tennessee because they lost last week, a game that they should have won, and I think they're gonna come and blow out Jacksonville.
Pause.
Now this is a good game, VP, and you're gonna have to make a really difficult decision. Kansas City Chiefs, 10-1, right? 11-1 rather.
11-1.
11-1, going into Miami. In Miami, you got the light skin, half billionaire Patrick, curly haired Mahomes going to see Tua. What's that look like for y'all?
Man, everything tells me that I should pick KC, and I probably should. But I'm gonna ride my boys, man. The one thing there was two factors in this game that I think would have helped us, and one of them's been taken away. And even though it's December, it's still fucking Miami. It gets hot, but we got a little cold front happening here in Florida, and I don't think the weather is going to be a factor like it normally is when you come to Miami, even in December. So
Right.
the other thing that could help us some is that we have a good defense,
Flores.
but they have a phenomenal fucking offense. So it's we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna rock with the boys.
I'm gonna go KC, just because. I mean, I can go either way because I think Flores is a phenomenal defensive coach, and that team is. I hate to say it, man. It's one piece, one play away from solidifying itself to try to do something. And like I was telling y'all earlier, the AFC East outside of today, because the Pats kind of blew it, even though they still got head-to-head matchups versus the Bills and the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins got to win, but I think Casey's going to win it.
Yeah, Gaskin has a big game. I think Flores watches the Raiders to see how they made it difficult on Kansas City. I think Miami pulls it out, but I'm gonna go Kansas City for the picks here. So I'm taking Kansas City, but I do feel like Miami has a good chance at this game.
Indeed.
AZ, Arizona coming into the Giants. Arizona's been on a funk like crazy. Like I said a few weeks back, your boy, he's fun to watch, and when he's scrambling, he looks great. But he's not he doesn't look like a quarterback, a quarterback that can throw the ball. And he's only what 5'9", 5'8", 5'10".
Probably
Very,
less, probably shorter than that.
yeah. But yeah, Arizona going into the Giants. But even still, right? Danny, we don't know who's starting, Danny Dimes or Colt McCoy at this point.
Yeah, and I kind of was calling it last week, but I wasn't brave enough to pick them. Colt McCoy he seems to deliver in some of these games, and they beat Seattle, and they're back at home. It's Jersey in December, so shit can be rough out there. Arizona really defensively isn't that great. I mean, when they played the Jets, Flacco had a lot of success in doing some things. They just couldn't capitalize, and it just seems like the Giants' defense is they figure something out. They figure something out here. I think I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Yeah, man, I have to agree, man. Danny, even if he don't play, he's been putting that team on his back. And if he does play, I think he looks across the field at Kyler Murray and he sees his future. He's feeling like Josh Rosen looking at the future. So,
You've been saying that. You've been saying that.
Because it's almost like he flipped the switch. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of the season, where it looked like, man, they might have to go back in the draft and find somebody. And it's like this kid is like, oh shit, I'm gonna get replaced. It's like Steve's in management. You put somebody on that final. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, this motherfucker 20 minutes early from work,
Top performer.
Well, I think offensively they started playing to his strengths. Like, listen, he's got some wheels on him. Let's do something different. We don't expect this white kid to roll out and run for 70 yards at 30 miles per hour, but it's been working. They carved Philly up doing that, and a lot of defenses probably didn't scheme for that against him. And like I said, Arizona's defense isn't that great, and the Giants decided, hey, you got Big Cat Leonard Williams, who was also a former Jet, who's playing solid ball. They're playing. Landon Collins is back there and tearing shit up. They got Ryan Mowgli Ryan, I think, is a corner. They're probably gonna put him on Hopkins. He's not a bad cover guy. So I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna go with Giants.
Yeah. And also, man, since we're on this game, man, like shout out to Larry Fitzgerald. I saw on Twitter earlier they were saying like he had COVID and he said he had a really rough go. He said he still doesn't have any taste right now.
Damn.
And he said something. It sounded kind of morbid, but you in this day and age, he was like doing some of the downtime. He ended up updating his will, which made me think like, yo, how sick was this dude? You know what I mean? So hopefully he gets better soon, man.
Yeah, shout out to that.
Yeah, good dude. So who you got, VP? You said the Giants as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Giants.
All right. I am taking Arizona. I have to. I just think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a conversation with Kyler and be like, throw me the fucking ball. Because last week, you could tell he was on the sideline and he was like, listen, I don't give a fuck about no Jalen Ramsey. Like, I am the best receiver in the league. And rightfully so. He should think that way, although Devontae Adams is looking like that guy, but he needs to go to Kyler and be like, listen, when I'm covered, I'm open. VP, you always say that about Calvin Johnson. And that's what he needs to tell him. Like, give me a shot, dog. Because if you don't give me a shot, I can't catch the fucking ball.
Yep.
Throw it up.
So yeah, man.
You can't teach 6'5".
Minnesota, Tampa Bay,
Ooh.
Tommy. Tampa Bay just hasn't looked good, man.
Nah.
And Kirk Cousins has been getting hot. What you guys think? It's a home game for Tampa. It's a big game for Tampa, honestly.
Yeah, this is a big game, man. I don't know. Brady's just he's looking 41 years old in these last couple of weeks. And to your point, Steve, Minnesota has been on a little bit of a run here. Even though I don't like Kirk Cousins, I don't trust him. I'm going to rock with him this week and go Minnesota.
I'm gonna say, and every time I pick Minnesota, they let me down. But I'm gonna pick Minnesota, and I mean, to the defense of Brady and the offense, they put up points. It's Todd Bowles' defense that has done what Todd Bowles' defenses do. They shit the bed, especially late in the season, and there's no real answer for Thielen or Jefferson. They've got two legitimate wide receivers, and they have a running game, which Dalvin Cook didn't even get off last game.
Pause. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay because they generally do pretty well against the run. But yeah, I don't feel comfortable about it. I think it could go either way. I just feel like Tom Brady, he's due, right? Like everyone says, it's there's these guys that when they lose or they have bad games, like the next game you expect them to come out and kill, and Tom has not done that yet, and he's due, and it may not be this one, but the motherfucker's due, he's due, and I hope it is this one for the pick.
I mean,
but
you might be right too, Steve, and I get it that these guys are world class athletes and all that kind of stuff, but it's hard to play at a certain level when you're a certain age,
yeah,
like it's a reason why, like when I was in the military, you run your for your 3 mile physical fitness test, right? When you're under 28 years old, you get this much time to run it. Once you're 28, they give you an extra minute because you might be in great fucking shape, but you're a little bit older now,
Yeah.
So,
dog, tell me about it. My fucking just wake up lately. Shit.
Yeah, Tom is definitely one of those guys. He had one game like that earlier this season. I think it was after they lost to the Saints, and then he came back and put in some work. But he's definitely one of those guys cerebrally that is motivated by getting his ass kicked. So
yeah,
and don't discount with Tom. He might have some shit in his head. Being that he has a history of being a fucking cheater. I did read that he got one of them PPP loans, so he might think the Fed's coming after him.
Damn, he did.
Yeah. His TV12 company got a PPP loan.
That is what's wrong with this fucking country.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
That is what's wrong with this fucking country.
That's why he's a Trump supporter.
Did I fill that paperwork out right?
Right. Or did someone else fill it out right?
Yeah,
All right, Indy going into. I keep doing this. I got Oakland written down, but it's Las Vegas. Indy going into Las Vegas.
I hate Phillip
EJ.
Rivers.
EJ.
Yeah.
real quick on the Tom Brady thing. Let me just throw in there allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all alleged.
I hate Phillip Rivers, but defensively, I have to go with the Colts on this one. I think they make the difference because, like Steve pointed out, these guys barely beat the Jets, barely. The Raiders historically for the last 6 or 7 seasons had a tough time in Jersey, and this is like one of the first ones they got in a long time. But I gotta go with Indy, man. I gotta go with Indy.
Yeah, I'm on Indy as well for this one.
Yep. Oakland, they don't know if they're coming or going. One week they look like fucking, playoff Super Bowl bound team, and then the next week they look like the Jets. We got next up.
Thanks a lot.
Speaking of, we have the Jets going into Seattle.
Demoralizing loss last week. Defensive coordinator fired, which I think was warranted. Just hope that the head coach was right behind him. Jamal Adams is going to be playing with a lot of pride. Denzel Mims is out, so that is a target down. So I don't know how Sam Darnold is going to play this game. But I have to just logically go with Seattle. If the Jets win, I will be happy. It might kick us out of the Trevor Lawrence running, which I think we need anyway, because I'm not all for the one guy saves all kind of thing. But I gotta go with Seattle.
Yeah, I gotta go Seattle here, man. I mean that Jet team is just really bad, man. And I was truly shocked that they only fired Greg Williams last week. It seemed like one of those like fan things, like, oh, we lost this game in a really terrible way, so we need, it was like, let's service the fans by chopping off somebody's head. Somebody got to fall on the sword, kind of thing, and they got rid of him. And it was like, to me, it's like you got rid of the wrong guy. This you fired a defensive coordinator over one play. What's been going on the whole fucking season? You know what I mean?
But that was one of the most egregious calls that anybody could make. I mean, 0 all-out blitz. They had not a 0 all-out blitz. They had a QB spy, and they sent 6 or 7 guys. And it's 35 yards to the touchdown with 13 seconds left. That was kind of like out of this world.
With the fastest guy potentially in the league on the outside on one-on-one coverage
On an undrafted rookie.
I was gonna say with a guy that's 2 seconds slower than him in the 40. Yeah, I'm going Seattle. I do gotta say Ty Johnson looked good for you guys last week though. So he was a bright spot, but yeah, still going Seattle. And Seattle has problems with the run game, so. But I don't think the Jets got enough firepower. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have the right quarterback over there.
Nor do we have a secondary. So
that's a problem. Yeah. Atlanta going into the Chargers. Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan quietly is looking like he's about 45 years old. Like he looks like the shittiest of shit all season. And it's not from lack of weapons because he has fucking Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. They don't have Austin Hooper anymore, but who did they bring in at tight end? Hayden Hurst? No.
Yeah.
Hayden. I mean, it's not from lack of fucking targets, though, or lack of potential on that team. So, but Herbert looks good. Keenan Allen looks good. Mike Williams looks good. Austin Eckler is back. Atlanta has a problem with a lot of stuff. I'm going Chargers. What you guys think?
I'm going Atlanta.
ATL Shouty?
I just don't trust Matt Ryan, man. I think that Super Bowl loss to the Patriots, man, it's like he hasn't gotten over that shit or something, man. He just doesn't look good since then. Like it seemed like he was on the cusp of being that guy, and then he just totally regressed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go Atlanta, even though I don't like it.
ATL Shouty? Young Hoku. New Orleans Saints. They were saying Drew Brees could potentially be back this week, but I don't think he is. I have to kind of backpedal a little bit. Taysom Hill's getting the job done, man. And I don't know if that's a testament to him or to Peyton, to Sean Payton being a good coach, man, because the plays are not the same, right? They're not the same plays. You don't have Michael Thomas catching 1,000 balls, pause, even though he did, he got off last week. But yeah, it just looks it. I mean, Alvin Kamara's not eating like crazy, you know. But yeah, New Orleans is going into Philly. Philly looks like they're in fucking full turmoil, and you got Jalen Hurts starting against a very good defense. New Orleans is a looks like a very good defense this year so far.
And they're playing in Philly or in New Orleans?
It's in Philly.
Weather might be a factor, but they're what 8-0 without Drew Brees or something like that, and they're rolling. Michael Thomas did get off. Jalen Hurts is the X factor, but that Saints defense is still. Cam Jordan is still out there. I'm gonna go with the Saints. I'm gonna
go Saints here as well, man. The defense is good. I'm in the same boat as Steve. Like I definitely thought it was a mistake starting this kid, given that he had only thrown something like 10 passes his whole career or some shit like that, But Peyton definitely made the right call here, man. And to Steve's point with Kyler Murray, Hopkins, Taysom is like force feeding fucking Michael Thomas. And last week I watched that Saints game, and the commentators said, like, when they were doing their player interviews, they talked to Taysom Hill about Michael Thomas, and he told them any pass to Michael Thomas is a good pass. So he's like it's never wrong to throw it to him. So and Kyler needs to start having that same attitude with DeAndre Hopkins or whatever. Like, it's never a bad throw going to DeAndre, the same way Taysom says going to Michael Thomas.
When you say that, I think back to Green Bay when they had Jordy Nelson and Devontae Adams was just coming up, and they were playing. I want to say it was the Jets and Jordy and Green Bay. I think it was the Jets. Damn it. Or maybe it was Arizona. But oh no, I'm lying. It was Seattle. They were playing Seattle, right? And they ended up losing to Seattle because they wouldn't throw to Jordy Nelson because Sherman was on them, right? But that's your fucking guy. Like, I think he threw it that way twice. Jordy Nelson had 2 attempts, that game, right? And that's just not enough for your number one guy. And so that's what all these star quarterbacks. And I think, from there on, we see now that Aaron Rodgers has learned his lesson. Like, we see him force feeding Devontae Adams, to your point, Michael Thomas, force feed him. If they had realized with Tony Romo and T.O. that you had to force feed him, it might have been, some different stories there. They learned that with Dez, then the refs came in and, cheated. But things happen, right? But your guy too, your guy too is doing the same shit. When he's in there, he's feeding Devontae Parker. You know what I mean? There was some throws that he made to Parker. And I'm like, that was a terrible choice throw. But if that's your number one guy, right? That's you gotta trust that he's gonna make the play or break it up, if nothing else.
Right. And it's one thing, like when Manning was with the Colts, right? If your number one guy is Marvin Harrison, but you got Reggie Wayne on the other side,
right?
You can spread that shit around. You got
and Dallas
in
Clark
the backfield, Dallas Clark. If you got DeAndre and then there's a drop off in talent when you get to the number 2, you gotta be going to fucking DeAndre. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, same. You see it in Buffalo too, right? Stephon Diggs is getting it. It's just that's the way it needs to be, man. That's the way it needs to be. Washington goes, and Washington, shout out to them. They beat Pittsburgh last week. Listen, Alex Smith I mean, coming back from that fucking crazy ass injury, and I'm wondering if because he's not looking great. I'm wondering if these guys are just fucking playing for him in a sense. You know what I mean? I wonder if he just has a rapport with these guys. He's the veteran now. He's having these conversations with them and saying, "Hey, listen, all we got to do is stay disciplined, right? Because the defense is doing their job, the O line is doing their job, the wide receivers are making their catches." And it's happening for them, but they are going into the 49ers into San Francisco this week, or I think they might be playing in Arizona because they kicked the 49ers out because of COVID rates, but they'll be playing in, I want to say it's Arizona, Washington, playing the 49ers.
Alex Smith going against his old franchise.
Yep.
And then the Washington defense is different, man. I think I'm gonna have to go with, because they got a defensive front that ain't playing that shit. I'm gonna have to go with the Washington football team.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Washington here as well, man. And to your point, Steve, it could be one of those things like you said with Alex Smith. You talk to the team, tell them, "Hey, next week ain't promised. You know, you know, you don't know what's gonna happen. So let's go out there and leave it all on the field." And they could be rallying behind that shit, man.
And it's gritty football. It's not gonna be pretty, but shit, we ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Washington because I feel like their defense can stop Mostert. And I don't feel good about. I personally don't feel good about Nick Mullins. You know,
you saw the shit that Mike Tomlin said to Chase. Fuck this kid's name, Chase. Huh?
Edwards, Chase.
The defensive end guy, the one from Ohio State.
I don't know.
Am I saying his name wrong? Is it not Chase?
Because I thought they received Chase.
The guy they took with their first round pick, the defensive end dude from Ohio State.
On Pittsburgh?
I don't know.
No, on Washington. Isn't his name Chase Young or some shit like that?
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I thought you were talking. I was thinking opposite. I was thinking Steelers. Yeah.
They said
nice.
Him and Tomlin.
Nice.
Yeah, him and Tomlin were talking, and Tomlin was basically saying like how he's nice and shit. And Tomlin was like, "Man, I hope I don't never lose enough games to get a guy like you."
Yeah, their defensive front is serious, man.
Yo, that kid is a fucking monster, dog.
Yeah,
he is a monster. I like him a lot. He's gonna be a problem for us moving forward.
He surprised me. I watched some of those Ohio State games. Like, yo, this kid is really good. And I talked to my brother. My brother's like, EJ's a guy who played football, played college ball. My brother's an O lineman, and he's not gonna be good in the NFL. I don't like his footwork. I don't like that. And I was like, I don't know. I deferred to him. Though he knows more about football than me, you know. And he totally missed that one.
They've been producing guys on the defensive line consistently. The thing that they can't get right in the NFL is these quarterbacks. They keep having these great quarterbacks in college that come up to the next level, and they look horrible for whatever the situation is. Sorry for Justin Fields, his projection just based on history doesn't look good, but Young is raw, and the kid is from the Washington area. He does well with his hands. He's athletic, and he has a high motor. Like, this motherfucker is running people down from the opposite end of the field. Plus, they've got other guys on the front line that are doing well. So, I don't know.
Yeah. You got to run away from that kid, man. You have to. Otherwise, it's going to be a long fucking day.
Mm-hmm. Who else we got?
So these last two games, this next one is a really very, very good game for AFC playoff potential. You got Pittsburgh playing Buffalo in Buffalo. Buffalo is looking like one of the hottest things. And we've been talking about them all year. We talked about them last year before they really got good, and even 2 years ago. We thought that they would be taking that throne from New England, and right now Josh Allen looks like something different, man. The kid looks really, really good, even though he's racist.
Yeah, right. Right. Damn. This is tough.
So Pittsburgh going into Buffalo. I'm on Buffalo, man. I'm on Buffalo. I
I'm
don't
going
think
Buffalo.
Pittsburgh's defense is what it's supposed to be. It's a home game for Buffalo, and I just feel like Josh Allen. I wish Buffalo had a little bit. Listen, if Buffalo had a little bit of a better running back, they could be a Super Bowl favorite.
And to your point, everything you just said, I agree. And adding that Pittsburgh can't run the football. Connor has been activated, but he has been hit or miss. They don't have that offensive line that they used to. Pittsburgh is throwing like a crazy amount of footballs a game, and that looks good. But Buffalo has a secondary. So
Tre'Davious White, baby. I think he's got the most interceptions in the league so far.
I gotta go Buffalo.
I want to go Buffalo here as well, but for the fact that I want to try to pull further away in the standings for our pick'ems, and Pittsburgh is a veteran team, veteran quarterback, veteran coach. I think they find a way to get it done. But I think this game is going to be high scoring though. But I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Tomlin, man. I'm gonna just shout him out anytime we talk about Pittsburgh, just because that motherfucker is constantly on the hot seat, constantly winning, and we know why he's on the hot seat.
No doubt, Steve. You're absolutely right. He's black. He's always on the hot seat. And what always amazes me is that if it was any other team, I could see why he's on the hot seat. Pittsburgh don't go through coaches like that.
Right.
They've had 3 coaches in the last 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So I
And
don't
he's never
understand
had a
why
losing season.
Right. So what's the how is he on the hot seat when you know this franchise doesn't fire coaches like that, and he's never had a losing season. He's won a Super Bowl while he's been the head coach. Like, what is he on the hot seat for?
Yeah. And credit to Pittsburgh. We really don't know if he's truly on the hot seat or if that's just the media,
Right.
But, the media saying that he's on the hot seat is, you got to give this guy his just due, his respect. He is a player's coach. He's a player's coach, and I respect the shit out of him. I would love a coach like him in Dallas.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Last game of the week is Baltimore and Cleveland, a divisional game. Cleveland seems to have found their stride a little bit. Baltimore's coming off of a win against the Cowboys. COVID, all types of shit going on with them for 2 weeks in a row.
Let's just get it out there, man. I think the league has been bailing them out with the COVID protocols. It was a lot of questionable calls last game that changed the momentum of things. And still, Lamar Jackson didn't have Andrews this last game. I don't know if he's going to play this game, but they can't get to the outside guys, even though Hollywood Brown had a decent game. You got Myles Garrett. Lamar's still going to be a problem, but I think Cleveland's going to take this one. I'm going with them. I don't know for sure that they'll win, but I'm going with them in Cleveland. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens won. And Cleveland is like 0-11 or 0 all time on primetime games. It's a Monday night game. So I don't know if it's all time, but it's been a while since they won a primetime game.
And this game's in Baltimore?
It's in Cleveland.
It's in Cleveland.
In Cleveland? I'm going to take the Browns at home.
Cleveland at home. I want to take Cleveland. I can't take Cleveland because Baker Mayfield he just looks lucky out there. Like he doesn't he has these good games, these hot games, but it doesn't look like even when they're good games, you're not like, oh shit, look at that play he made. You're still like, who the fuck is he throwing it to? Oh, okay, the receiver made a great play or something crazy. Like he just doesn't look. I can't do it, man. I can't. And I wish Baltimore's defense looked better last week because they didn't look so great this past week against the Cowboys. But I think they do pull it out against Cleveland. I think they understand it's necessary. But Cleveland is, real quietly, 9-3 right now?
They're going to get 10 wins on the season because they got the Jets. So they're going to get 10 wins.
Yeah. Cleveland is, I think they might make a playoff appearance this year, especially with that extra playoff spot that we have on both sides.
Indeed.
So that wraps up the Sunday games, man.
Quickly, NBA. Just a couple of things real quick. Two things, and I don't know which way y'all want to go. Harden is open to being traded to Philly, or LeBron's commentary on Kyrie Irving. Which one y'all want to go?
Well, Paul George raped the Clippers today.
True.
Man.
He didn't even spit.
5
Like, he
years.
Yo, I saw that and I'm like, they think it's like fucking 2012 or something. Like,
bro, 229,000 million. Oh my god, I don't get it.
yeah, man.
I don't get it. Oh shit. Hot off the press, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris named Time's 2020 Person of the Year. Hot off the press.
All right. I think it's a bad choice, but I get it.
Yeah, I think it's early. It's early for that. We haven't seen much. But yeah, man, he raped the shit out of them. 229 million. But Harden going to Philly, right? So what's it gonna cost them? Are they okay with just Ben Simmons? Do
Wait,
they
is he
need
going
Ben?
to Philly? I hadn't heard that yet.
Well, he's wanting to go there. I'm
He's
sorry.
open,
Okay.
He's open to being traded there.
Got
So
it.
you know how that goes. People are saying, well, Philly's aggressively pushing for you, and they might quiet as kept, make some moves, man. They just need you to say you're open to go.
I think it's gonna it would cost Philly. It cost Philly more than damn it, I just lost my chain of thought. What's the I can't shoot a jump shot.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons, yeah. I think
Can't
they
shoot
would be
pointers. He can shoot jump shots.
I think it would cost them more than him, especially since they just brought in John Wall. So they would probably be looking at trying to get Embiid out of that situation, and I don't think Philly can give that up. I think that breaks them. That makes it a bad look for them. So I don't think that's a good move for Philly, and I don't foresee that happening. But I do think there's some other places that he could potentially land.
What do y'all think about LeBron and Kyrie situation though? Kyrie, released that statement during the finals, talking about how LeBron wasn't clutch, and LeBron was like, "Yo, I'm hurt. I only wanted to see this dude succeed," and he's talking shit about him.
Yeah, I think that there has to be something going on between Kyrie and LeBron, like that's not out there yet, that we're unaware of. Because to me, the animosity, that, and it seems like it mostly comes from Kyrie's side. I don't understand it. You know what I mean? LeBron came back, tried to mentor the dude, whatever. Kyrie left when he went to Boston. And then when he was trying to mentor those young guys, was like, yo, now I see what Bron was going through, da-da-da. It seemed like they squashed things. And then all of a sudden this shit happens or whatever, So I think there has to be something there that may have happened that we're unaware of, man, because Kyrie continuously taking shots at this dude doesn't make sense to me.
You think LeBron's mom might have slept with Kyrie too?
Oh my God. Yo, this is what's so crazy. When Steve said, that was the first thing that popped in my head, and then he said it
like, yeah, I do feel like I feel like there's some substance to what Kyrie said, but I've always said that, right? I've always said that part of the problem for me is that LeBron James passes up shots that he should not pass up. And I think he could have some more success if he didn't pass up some of those shots. I mean, some of them have worked out, like the Ray Allen saving, the Miami championship that Vari walked out the door on, and actually texted and said it was over.
This is where the LeBron hate kills me, because that's not even what happened. LeBron took the shot and missed. Bosh got the rebound, kicked it to Ray Allen. Ray Allen made the 3-pointer. Steve just assumes LeBron passed it because he don't like LeBron.
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, he's made lots of he passed to Shane Battier a few times on last second. Like a Shane Battier is not even known for scoring, dog. Like you, and so again, my biggest criticism for LeBron is not so much taking the shot, it's going to the hole. You get every fucking call, dog. Like just go and try to get the foul.
I see what you're saying there, Steve, and I think LeBron facilitates too much as well. It kind of makes me think about like with Jimmy Butler in this past finals where he's just passing, and then in the fourth quarter he decides to turn it on, and it's like, yo, you're the guy, so you got to turn it on earlier than that. And I think LeBron facilitates too much, but at the same time, as good as he is, if he can get some of them other guys going, that team could damn near be unstoppable, And this is before you get a player like an AD, you know what I mean?
So imagine if he didn't over facilitate, right? And then he wouldn't need these super teams, right? Because he would go make it happen, and that's the difference. Again, to me, that's the difference between him and Kobe Bryant. Don't get me wrong, Kobe did have some good teams. Kobe did have some supporting cast. Jordan had a supporting player or two, that were good in Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen, right? And people will say Judd Buechler was good, but it is what it is. But I just don't think LeBron. Like, think about this Lakers. I think this Lakers team is better than the Heat teams that you guys had. Like with fucking what's the dude that came from the
Especially
Clippers?
bench-wise.
Yeah, what's the dude?
Harrison.
What did he say?
The sixth man of the year.
Clippers. Yeah, the Clippers. Power forward or center rather that they brought in.
He's a forward. The guy they signed for 2 years. That was just on the Clippers.
I don't know why I can't think of his name.
I can't.
But I mean,
the dude with dreads. Right.
Yeah.
Either way, that I think that team is I mean, that's a good opportunity for the research, the VP of research.
Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell, yeah.
There you go. Guy with trips.
You're fired, bitch.
Right. So with Montrezl, I think this Lakers team is stacked. And it just seems like, come on, dog, just relax, man. And it seems like he don't give a shit, which I can respect him for not caring, but damn, like this is the reason why people just don't put him up there, But going back to the original question, I agree with you, VP. It's probably some petty shit that happened between the two of them. Who knows what it is? I do agree with Kyrie that there's some opportunities for LeBron to make those shots. I just don't agree that Kyrie should be making those types of statements. I can agree there that he shouldn't make those statements. You guys were fucking teammates. You guys went out and won. LeBron played a part while you did hit some big shots, and probably the biggest shot of that time frame to get you a ring. He played a huge part for those times where Kyrie was hurt.
Right. Go ahead, VP.
No, I was just gonna say to Steve's point about the pettiness. It probably is some petty shit. Like it wouldn't surprise me if like this nigga's mad because when LeBron came back to Cleveland, he had to like give up his parking space or some shit. Like, it could be some shit as petty as that.
Yeah, and LeBron keeps it very PC and he's very smart. But he gave me the vibe in the sense where it was just like, yo, fam, like, where's this coming from? Like, when I was with you, all I wanted to see you do is do your thing. You know what I'm saying? And to say it while these guys were in the finals, plus, not to mention you've been injury prone, plus people have been kind of calling you the team killer. You're in Brooklyn where your other castmate is skeptical as well. We don't know how you're gonna return from Achilles, regardless of anything. This is an Achilles. You're jumping and bouncing on hardwood. It was really bad. It looked really bad. And it's just like, was it really necessary? And LeBron's comments was just like, yo, I was hurt. Like, I appreciated the honesty to kind of be like, what the fuck? Like, what's up with you, dog? Like, you got my number, fam. Like, what's up with you?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy, man. But VP, you wanted to talk about the whitest magazine on the planet in Time Person of the Year, the Time Person of the Year candidates. Take it away.
No, I just, I thought it was some interesting candidates. Usually the president is always one of them. So they're the final four. Even Steve did announce a moment ago that they picked Joe and Kamala, but
Oh shit,
the
I'm
final,
out.
huh?
I missed that. I heard
Oh
him
no,
say something. I heard him say it, but I didn't hear what he said prior to
yeah.
that. Got it. Okay.
The final four, it was Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and then it was frontline healthcare workers as well as Fauci, and then
Racial something.
people marching for racial justice. And so I thought it was an interesting final four. I actually didn't think that it would be Biden or Trump. I would definitely knew it wouldn't be Trump. I didn't think it would be Biden, and I thought, given all that we've seen with COVID, that it more than likely would have been the healthcare workers. But I thought that the justice warriors would have had a good shot at it too. I'm actually really surprised that they picked Joe and Kamala.
Steve, what do you think on it?
I don't like the cliche shit like with time and their choices this time around. With the healthcare workers and Fauci and fucking like I just feel like it's cliche as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Um you can salute them without saying they're the person of the year is all of these people, right? Like we all understand the role that they've played. We understand the role that the people that have marched and such have played. Um, it just seems to me that it's cliche. It seems like they were reaching and doing going too hard, and then for all for nothing, right? Because Joe and Kamala end up winning. I don't think Trump should have been up there, president or not. Like, how do you put this guy up there after what the fuck he did with the country? Like, after the way he's acting, after you could forget about everything. If you don't think he's racist, if you don't think anything he did during his presidency was wrong, you're oblivious to VP, or oblivious to reality. But the way he acted after the fucking after the election, that should be enough for you to be like, nah, we can't do this.
It's un-American and unbecoming. And to your point about Joe and Kamala, it's like, okay, I mean, they haven't done anything just yet. So, I mean, if you're giving a person, you can't even literally say the people of the year because they won the election, because the people did that. The you can argue that the protesters did that. You can argue that us as the voters did that. I can't even say that they necessarily mobilized the people well enough to do that. Not taking anything away from them. I don't know that we'll ever see an effort such as what President Obama did as far as organizing and energizing the people. I don't know if we'll ever see that again until Michelle runs, but which I'm speaking into existence. But
Until
yeah,
until Michelle.
yeah, I mean, I don't know that you could really say that they've done anything entirely this year, especially with Kamala when it comes to the DNC. She lost. She went for president. She lost and became the VP because Biden is smart. So yeah, I kind of agree, and I would have to go with the people fighting for racial justice. Out there on the front line, you got a fucking guy running around, traveling state to state with ARs, shooting people unlawfully. You've got police beanbagging people, all kind of shit going on. These people risking their lives. I would say that when you talk about time and over the times and what they've saluted, I think they truly dropped the ball on this.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, EJ. And I think we obviously know they probably picked them just for the historic nature of Kamala being the first woman VP. But really, if you think about it, those people fighting for racial justice are the reason that Kamala was selected, because from everything that I was hearing from people that I follow who are plugged into Democratic politics, is that Biden was looking at picking somebody like Amy Klobuchar or Tammy Baldwin, the other senator from Minnesota, and folks in that vein people who are, very moderate, very, plain spoken and that kind of thing. And after George Floyd's murder and people taking to the streets and protesting for basic equality, I think that helped to uh, uh, skyrocket Kamala to the top of that VP search list. I'm pretty sure she already was on it, but I don't think that she was gonna be it until that happened or whatever. So you can kind of give them that nod as well. And to Steve's point about Trump, man, like I get it that he's the president or whatever, but you look at part of the reason why your frontline healthcare workers are on this list is because of how bad Trump did everything, right? Like, yeah, this vaccine is getting ready to come out or whatever, and he did this Operation Warp Speed shit or whatever. But we've talked about it on the podcast before. You look at a country like Australia, they're not over there saying, oh shit, when's the vaccine coming out? These motherfuckers living life because they took the virus serious from the beginning and they're averaging, 5, 6 cases a day, where we're averaging 200 plus thousand cases today. Yesterday, 3,000 people died from COVID. Today, another 3,000 people died. And I was just reading a moment ago that the director of the CDC said that they anticipate having numbers as high as 9/11 every day for about the next month or so.
Jeez.
And the shit is just insane. And all of this is because of how irresponsible and how much of a colossal failure this motherfucker was, and he's being considered for person of the year. Like, are you fucking shitting me?
Yeah, their choices were piss poor. Like I said, but I just researched it, and it appears that the choice is by the readers. So they do an online poll, and it's the readers that choose, right? So I can't really get at time for the choice of who won it, but I do get at them for the nominations, and I don't think that again, I don't think that Trump should have been on there at all, especially if you're going to put Biden and Kamala, because Biden and Kamala, you're putting them there because they dethrone this fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
In my eyes, right? If I'm thinking about when you get to the table and you're having that conversation.
Indeed. Okay. Do we have a political moment from you today, VP?
Yeah, I can go real quick. So Monday was the safe harbor date. That's the date that all the states had to have their votes certified by. And also, I would like to make a correction real quick. On the last podcast, I said that the Congress would meet on January 5th to receive the Electoral College votes. Got that date wrong. The date is actually January 6th. They normally would meet on January 5th, but because we have these Georgia runoffs, which will take place on January 5th, the date was moved to January 6th, since they won't have a full Senate until January 5th. The next key date in the election battle here will be next week, Monday, December 14th. That's when the Electoral College will meet to vote on who will be the next president, which will be Joe Biden. And then following that is December 23rd, when they meet on December 23rd to vote for the vice president. Last podcast, I said I don't know why they do it on two separate dates. I actually did a little bit of research and found out.
Oh shit!
The reason is that back in the day when in the country's founding, the president and vice presidential nominees didn't run as a ticket. It was just the president who ran. And then after the president was elected, he then picked his vice president, which is why the Electoral College had to go back in to make the selection, because
So we're still doing shit 200 years later.
Yeah,
200 plus years later, same way.
Pretty much. But that's kind of why that was happening. Also, the state of Texas sued the states of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, trying to get the Supreme Court to overturn their election results. We'll see what happens there, but most legal experts say that this case is going nowhere. But the damage that these Republicans are doing to the country is going to be long lasting. And other than that, we're still waiting on the Congress to pass a relief bill There was a bipartisan bill negotiated on between about 7 or 8 senators, both Republicans and Democrats, and that bill looked like it was on its way to passage. And then Mitch McConnell came out of nowhere today and said that he's not accepting that bill. So we're still nowhere on getting relief to businesses who are struggling, as well as individuals, who are waiting on some type of assistance. There are a bunch of programs that were put in the last relief bill, which delayed, rent payments and foreclosures and all kind of stuff like that. That stuff is set to expire at the end of the year, and there's nothing in sight saying that the Congress is going to come in to help. So a lot of people may there may be a lot of hurt come this January.
And we elected mayor for Baltimore City, Brandon Scott. Google him. He's about 34, 35, maybe 35, 36 years old. He's sporting an afro, pretty clean, nice afro. But this week he elected to shut down all Baltimore City restaurants starting, well, I don't know if it's all restaurants, but the restaurant dining and bars by 5 p.m. Friday. So a lot of people are out right now getting it in. Well, they were getting it in up until 10 o'clock due to the new restrictions. Baltimore County will still be open, but there seems to be no contingency for these people. And a lot of people are up in arms because, there is no relief nationally. And this is a local thing that he's doing, and the state is not involved. So there is not going to be seemingly any state involvement other than whatever state measures are already in place. But Baltimore relies heavily off of its restaurant culture. So a lot of people are a little upset right now this week, especially that it came this week.
I'm gonna say shout out to him for that. If it's just eating in, right? I had a conversation with someone in Connecticut because they're talking about doing the same thing, about dining in, and the conversation that I had with them was, when we popped open down here in Florida and we opened that opportunity up, the numbers damn near tripled, if not more, for people eating in, and they don't realize and understand. They're like, well, give me the numbers of how much. We don't have exact numbers because we don't do correct contact tracing, right? And because you can get it from someone else, you may not have gotten it from that restaurant. But if we are seeing people, if we're seeing restaurants shutting down, because they need to do cleaning. We saw down here, we saw fucking Starbucks. A couple Starbucks were shut down specifically. We saw some Dunkin' Donuts shut down. We saw some pizza places shut down, because they had some COVID cases in their restaurants, in their establishments. People have to understand that, it's the people that are asymptomatic that are sitting in there eating. You know what I mean? That's what you're having. You're getting these fucking these knives and these forks and these spoons that people are just dipping in water and then putting back out there for you, right? So I mean, we know how it works. So I do commend them for that, and I think the frustration is geared. They're gearing it at the wrong people. They're directing it at the wrong people, and they need to direct it at the government and the individuals that are not giving that relief.
Nah, no doubt, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that video that went viral with the woman in Los Angeles, where she spent all this money to set up outside dining at her restaurant, and the city shut her down, or not just her, they shut down restaurants, period. And then she was like, she came to the building, and they literally got like an outside buffet spot set up for this movie company that's getting ready to shoot some scenes for some movie in the parking lot where her restaurant is. And she was like on TV crying, saying like, "This is a slap in the face where you're shutting me down. My outdoor dining is not safe, but this big, million billion dollar, movie studio is safe for them to have this outdoor dining. Like, what the fuck, And you can't tell people you got to shut down. You can't run your business. You can't pay your employees. You can't, pay your rent, feed your kids, whatever the case, and then not provide any relief. And because of how damaged, how broken the social safety net is in this country, is why we're having such a hard time with COVID versus other countries that are Western style countries, like over in Europe, for example, because they say, hey, we're going to shut down, but we're also going to pay these citizens this much money per month to ensure that they can continue to take care of themselves, while we, the government, have forced them to not be able to go to work or whatever. And that's why you don't see people over there having protests for masks and opening businesses in defiance of whatever the government is saying.
Yeah, shit, we ain't got to go across the pond. We can just go up north. Canada
Right.
been on it, and I think the thing with Brandon Scott in Baltimore is that, again, it's not a state thing, and whether you like Hogan or you don't. And there was a thing about when he didn't fund the HBCUs and handle the case, the ongoing case that, mind you, was long before his terms, right? And he put all this money aside for COVID relief when the state was shut down. I think the difference here is that Brandon Scott has seemingly arbitrarily just done this his first day on the job, and there's no real contingency discussion. And the surrounding counties are still open. So it's going to be interesting. And I mean, he said he did it with conscience to keep people alive and do things. But we don't know what the contingency is going to be, because this is literally, he just got sworn in this week. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah. But yeah. Anything interesting you guys watched lately to close us out on? Anything new?
I watched Power.
I didn't watch it yet.
I did watch Power. It's interesting start so far. I'll continue to watch it, but I need a little more from them, man. Tasha is such a bad fucking actor. She is so bad, man. Oh my god. But Method Man is doing a great job still. Mary J is still bad. I think she got a little better. She seemed like to be a little better than from what she was in the first portion of this. She looked really, really bad. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen. It looks like there's a lot that could potentially be going on here. So, yeah.
For me, I just watched that movie. It's called Plus One. It's like a Netflix joint or something. It's basically, you guys saw that movie Holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically the same movie, but instead of holidays, is weddings.
I need to watch that.
Of course,
so,
is that Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. So, no, I think we watched it on Hulu.
Okay. Was it good?
It was straight. I laughed at it. It was all right. Yeah, it's one of those like a chick flick kind of thing.
I love romantic comedies.
Yeah.
Yeah, rom-coms are my thing, man. I like watching it.
Yeah,
the echoing.
The female lead character in there, she's pretty funny. I don't recall seeing her in anything else that I've ever seen, unless she was in it. I just didn't know it was her. But I think it was her that kind of made the movie funny, because she's like one of those out there kind of characters that just say like mad foul shit. Like, she's super toxic, basically.
I watched on Netflix this African series, Kings of Joburg. If you like Top Boy and that kind of thing, it had some good drama to it. While it was still good budget, you could still see the difference between American studios and South African studios. But it had me. I watched it through and through, and it was pretty decent. Also watched the documentary on Hector Camacho, which I'm a big boxing person, and Hector Camacho was a phenomenal boxer, Puerto Rican born, Spanish Harlem raised. That dude was that guy in the 80s and 90s, and drugs, fame just took him off the rails and ultimately killed him. And still to this day, no killer named. And there were people that were commenting on, like, he had this guy that was like a taxi driver in Puerto Rico in his later days that drove him around and just became his friend or whatever. And this dude basically spoke on the documentary, and 4 months later was killed. So they tried to get the FBI involved. His mom is still trying to get the killer, but that was pretty dope just to watch, the rise and fall. And unfortunately, the demise of Hector Camacho. So yeah, if you get a chance, man, just take a look at it if you ever a Camacho fan.
Macho Camacho.
Macho time. Macho time. Salute them.
Oh,
Yeah, that's all, man. All I got.
yeah, I haven't watched anything else other than that. I'll probably go check out some more Christmas films, for sure, because that's a thing for me right now.
Shout out to Home Alone, man, and the parents being the real villains of the movie every year.
Facts.
This nigga at home in New York. Trash.
I hate watching Home Alone because I always wanted to have like a Home Alone Christmas.
Yeah, you would be
Everybody's
home
sleep
alone.
over. No, I don't mean that portion of it. I mean like the before, like the beginning where the pizza came and everybody's at the big ass house, and
That was a big ass house.
Mm-hmm. His parents definitely sold some drugs.
or something else.
All right, man. Well, if there's nothing else, man. VP, take us on home.
All right, everybody. We definitely appreciate you guys rocking with us. Sorry that we couldn't get this one on the Facebook Live today, so you guys are hearing the recorded version. Nobody couldn't join us live. Fuck you, Mark. But yeah. Anyway, we definitely appreciate you guys rocking with us, taking the time to listen to the podcast. You can find the podcast on any of your podcasting platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Plus, YouTube. You can check out our website at www.castworthy.com and get the previous episodes there. You can check us out on our social media at Castworthy, on Instagram at Castworthy_podcast. If you do check us out on social media, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and follow. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And we will see you guys on Sunday for the next episode of the Castworthy podcast. As always, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Peace.